This is a paid program. Advice and opinions expressed during the program are solely that of Heiar Insurance, not WBEV, ESPN, or Good Karma Brands.
All right, thank you very much, Wally Lukashenski. I am Wade Bates. The honor today, sitting in for Senior Solutions here on 95.3 WBEV and Daily Dodge TV. Matt Heiar from Heiar Insurance is here. How you doing, sir?
Good. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic here today, and what a great weekend we're going to have here today. It's like a bonus post-Labor Day holiday weekend to get outside. And
I can't wait. It's, 80s all weekend?
80s all weekend. Does that mean, do you have yard work to take care of at your house?
Nope. Got that done. I just got a wedding to go to this weekend, so I get to stand up in it, too.
Oh, you're standing up in the wedding,
yes.
So you have, what kind of outfit do you get to wear?
Tux or...
Is it a tuxedo? Like what color?
Blue, like navy blue.
Okay, navy blue.
I don't know if it's tuxedo or suit. I don't know the difference really.
Okay.
But
yeah. What is the difference between is a tuxedo and a suit?
I do not wear them ever, so I couldn't tell you, but...
Are you the best man?
No, I'm not.
What number are you on the list of... in the order? Don't you find that out tonight, won't you?
I will find that out tonight, yes.
All right, so is it at least in town?
It's just outside of town in Columbus.
Yeah, I was in a wedding. I was in Kevin Haugen's wedding last year. And after that, I honestly thought I was done with weddings at my age because, a lot of people have already cycled through. Mm-hmm. Usually if it's wedding number 2, 3, or 4, you maybe do something small.
Yeah.
Destination. So it should be a fun time, huh?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the venue is pretty cool. It's like a farm setting, I guess.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm excited.
No, it should be exciting there. And you mentioned I got all my vegetation cut down last week, all the peonies, all the hostas, cleaned up around the house. And,
it's 80 degrees. You're doing that already?
And I thought about taking putting the Christmas lights up last week.
Nuh-uh.
Not going to turn them on, like not the trees, but just the ones on the house, on the roof.
Okay.
When it's not 40 degrees and Clark Griswolding it.
Oh, yeah, we don't need you hurt, even though you can still work as long as your voice still works.
You never know. I don't know, but I don't want to fall off a roof. That would not be fun.
No.
That's why it's easier to do that here. But, another week in the fold here today. Hudson will be back next week. I'm going to call her Jamie. Amy and Justin, I combined them to both are gone this week.
Okay, so you guys are filling in for
I don't mind. I love filling in with you because I always learn something talking to you here today.
That's good.
I guess before you get going, you want to tell us about Heiar Insurance if people are new to the whole situation?
Yeah, so at Heiar Insurance, we basically help people with health, life, and retirement. So, different journeys. These are all things that we don't know about, like, how do I sign up for Medicare? What do I do? When do I sign up for Social Security? Do I need life insurance? Do I still need this life insurance? And it's just a lot of questions that, we kind of set it and forget it. And then all of a sudden it's like, well, what does this mean? And why did I take this out?
Can I ask you an actual legitimate question right now?
Yes, you can.
So I have life insurance. Okay.
Okay.
Typically, what is the length of that life insurance policy? So I've basically had life insurance since probably when we got married and we had kids. We ended up getting life insurance. So, I think I have 2 separate kind. My wife has 2 and I have 2 because I see what it comes out of, our direct deposit or whatever, or out of our bank account, our checking account twice a month. But usually, what's the life? Because life insurance doesn't last till like you're 100, does it?
Well, it all depends.
Okay.
So there's different styles or types of life insurance. There's one called permanent or whole life, which is like the same premium and it's just guaranteed to be that premium and it builds cash value.
Okay.
So that insurance company is 100% going to pay that out no matter what.
Even if I live a long, happy life and all of a sudden my spouse is still alive and I'm like...
Well, it's going to be happy, but
like 95.
Yes.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But if all of a sudden if I pass away and I say I'm like 95.
Yeah, well, absolutely. The permanent and whole lives, they will guaranteed to pay out, and it also builds cash value, which you could take loans from if you'd like. So it's a little bit versatile and typically a little bit more expensive. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's why we always recommend the whole life. The younger, the better. The healthier, the better. Because we're locking our age in essentially. So if you took it out at 35, well, you're a 35-year-old for life. Okay,
and then I think I'm asking. I think that's what I have. But then does that end at some point though? Because I was looking at some of my paperwork and I said, oh, it's like good through this amount of years or something like that.
Well, they all have different features. Okay. Like some riders that they add to it would be like paid up insurance. Mm-hmm. So there's a certain threshold that you meet where you built enough cash value where you don't have to pay for it anymore. Okay. So it'll pay the premiums the rest of your life, and then you'll have the death benefit guaranteed. Now on the other term life, that is completely different. So, and it means exactly what it sounds like. Term. It's for a X amount, like a term. So basically, and that's what you hear on TV little $1 million for $10 a month, and everyone's like, oh, sign me up. That might be a 5-year policy for a 35-year-old. So that's where, and those are great, and they're cheaper. They are way cheaper. You still have to do the underwriting and stuff, but that's where like you buy a house and you have, $200,000 in debt. It's like, well, maybe we should do like a 10, 15, 20-year term, which it's cheaper, and we're not looking for overall life because we don't need it, in 10, 20 years, we're not going to have that debt or as much debt.
Yeah, and then you mentioned, you get your physicals and such or whatever, your medicals when you get, and I'm trying to remember back when I had, because that was such a long time ago, because I'm so old now. So that would be the case. So if you would you'd have your physicals and things like that, and then you'd come through and the insurance company comes up kind of with a number if you're a relatively healthy person. If they maybe find something that could be some sort of, whether it be a family thing or you might have some sort of a health problem, like say like sleep apnea or something like that, that could affect like a premium.
Yep, so they release your medical records. So that's why everyone comes in and they're like, well, how much is it going to be for this much? And it's always like dollar amount, how long or what type of policy, how much is it going to be? And it's like, I can't assume what the underwriters are going to rate you at. So it's free to have a paramed come and they draw some blood and they do a couple other tests and stuff on you. It takes about 20 minutes. And then they go through the underwriting process and the underwriters come back and say, yep, we rated them at preferred, select preferred, standard, and there's very, very long list of different ratings. And that's when we can, okay, let's break it down now. We go by either affordability, like monthly, or else we go by, the threshold, we need 100,000, 200,000. So yeah, it's a slow process. It's a frustrating process, because they might want more labs or they might want a conference, like a phone conversation with you. So it's a tedious process and very frustrating. So basically, the only advice I can give for life insurance, because you can be overinsured very quickly. You do not need 13 different policies.
Yeah.
So many people are like, do I still need this? And I'm like, well, do you have any debt? And they're like, no. Okay. So typically we reach a threshold where we don't have the debt. We don't need that policy that we thought about, 10, 15 years ago. And then we just go, basically for like a burial policy then.
Perfect. And then so it's the case too. Then like you mentioned, once you get the T's are crossed, the I's are dotted. If, say for example, like I said, 3 years down the road, you get diagnosed with say a lung issue or something, then that wouldn't go back and your premiums wouldn't change because it goes back from when you got that policy signed.
Yep, date of application. So that's why we answer the health questions accordingly to the present day, and we can lie about every health question, but we're releasing our medical records.
Yeah.
They will find it.
Sure, exactly. I just questioned, like I said, I was looking over my policies the other day just because I turned 50 and I got my thing in the mail. Usually get like a thing, an information packet from them every now and then. And I was like, I was looking. I think I saw an end date on that, and I was like 60 something, and that's why I wasn't quite sure. And I didn't call my person who gave it to me back when I lived in Fond du Lac, but I figured I'd ask you because I knew I was coming on. You know everything.
I don't know about that, but no, there's so many different life insurance. I mean, the only thing I can recommend is A-rated companies that have been around a while, because so many people come in with these life insurance policies. I've never even heard of the company, and they merged with this company, and it's not fun. It's not fun to try to get a death claim. So that's why. Make sure it's a known company, and cheaper isn't always better.
Yep.
But I'm not saying pay double the price, but it just has to make sense. And, I always ask people, why do we have this? Because our needs, our capital needs analysis, we basically have you fill out a survey, and, it's because people come in, I want $1 million. Why? And I almost try to talk people out of it a lot of times. We need some sort of life insurance for security for our family, but we don't need an abundance. It's just, what is the purpose? Because we have to tell the regulators this. We can't just sign everyone up with $10 million, when your net worth is, $50,000.
Sure.
Doesn't make sense at all.
Gotcha.
So yes, but back in the day, there used to be a lot of suitcase salesmen going door to door. Every year, they'll come back to your house. Hey, how about another $5,000 policy? And I always question people, why? Why do you have all these? And they're like, they just kept coming back.
Well, that's the question. Because you have questions, it's good to have somebody tangible to talk to that's kind of right in your neighborhood, which Heiar Insurance is, right?
Yep, I'm right down the road at the Heritage Mall. You can call us, free consultations at 920-887-0580.
If somebody does have a call here today, they can give us a call at 885-4446, Matt. And you have said this is a busy time of year for you. Is this kind of like if you're an accountant when you get into tax season? For people in your business, this is the time where it really starts ramping up a little bit?
Well, I'm not an accountant, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I'm saying when you get tax time, I'm working a million hours trying to get everybody's stuff done and changes being made to stuff and things like that.
And right now it's like the calm before the storm.
Okay, is that what it is?
Yeah, because basically we don't get to see what 2025 looks like until October 1st.
Okay.
And then the enrollment period is October 15th to December 7th.
Okay, so we have a month.
Yes, but we have 14 days to figure it out, like how our season's going to go. And then we have 7 weeks, and it's just been frustrating because there's been a lot of changes that with the Inflation Reduction Act of 22, there's still things happening, set for 25.
Okay, so what types of things have changes that have made impacts on your business and people trying to get coverage and things like that?
I thought you'd never ask.
Okay.
No, so basically what happened is they're maxing prescription drugs to $2,000. So your maximum out of pocket is $2,000, which that's a lot of money.
Yep.
But there are medications that are $1,000 a month. So it might make sense for people. But yeah, $2,000 is the max. And it's scary because what's going to happen? This is a pretty big change, for a typical year. Usually it's like, hey, copays are going up or going down or premiums. But this is like big. This is like government, Congress passed this. So we don't know exactly how it's going to go. But basically these insurance companies are going to have to eat these costs. And insurance companies don't eat costs.
No, they just pass it on to the
to the consumer.
Yeah, yep.
So the federal government give them money for these prescription drug plans, these contracts to these insurance companies every year, but they gave them more money because of this. So, but now we're finding out, one of the largest Part D carriers decided, they just sent us a letter saying, hey, we're not paying agents anymore.
Okay, so that means that, explain what that means then.
Well, so we typically get commissions. We're commission based, on our sales. So like every time we sign you up, we get a commission from the insurance company. And all our renewals, like if you renew with the same policy, we get a commission. And basically that largest carrier just sent out an email and said, yep, we're not paying commissions for next year, and all your previous commissions we're not paying. So not only did they get more money, and I know there is a change, but they if the consumer has to pay a lot more this year, I will be so frustrated because they got more money, they didn't pay agents, and they're also...
So I guess it's a question. So if they're not paying agents, then, you're obviously a business as well. So then how do you be a business as opposed to somebody donating their time for things?
I don't know. And
that's a big chunk of what you do, right?
That's all we do.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And it's just, and not only, so we know we're getting commissions, so it's a crazy hectic 7 weeks, and, it's a lot of overtime, like you said, the accountant analogy, but it's, all of a sudden now they're like, yeah, well, what if accountants just didn't get paid for doing taxes? I'd be like, that's not right. If I'm going to work for free, I'd rather be golfing.
Sure.
But it was a shocker, and other companies are starting to follow suit. And so now it's just already the calm before the storm. And now it's like, oh, really? This is how it's going to go now. So it's really tough. And it's been like this for a long time, where I'll run your medication list and be like, hey, this is the best plan for you. This is the cheapest out of pocket, because it shows us what you're going to pay overall for costs for next year. And then 3 months later, a person will get a letter saying, we're not going to cover this drug anymore. So they're 1-year contracts. They have to submit it to our government to approve it by June, and they can change it in the middle of the year.
Could that lead to non-reputable people like you that would push people to companies and organizations that still do pay commissions? Maybe it's not the best plan for them.
Yeah, so you're right. Like, it's going to change people's moral compass, you know, and saying like, well, you could go with this company, which would save you more money, but I ran all your medications and did this, and so we will run people's medications, but for the signing up, we might just recommend you just go on the government website and just click enroll. So that might be the easiest, because we go through a lot of paperwork, a lot of faxing to these companies and stuff. And if there's a date wrong, we have to resubmit it, have a signature and date it, and have you date it also and have a signature. And it's like, what are we doing? It's just madness, like how this is, happening. But these are government programs, and basically they can do what they want. Like that's not part of the pact of them getting paid, where it's like, well, you have to pay agents. That's not what they do. So yeah, it's a very frustrating thing. But Medicare runs drug plans. So if you can call 1-800-Medicare and they will run your drug plan. We have a lot of clients that are just doing it themselves.
Sure.
And then also our local ADRC, they run drug plans too. So yeah, we're going to see a huge change in customer care for drug plans. And it's, and I get it. I totally get it, with people, like, why should I work, crazy hours, for this 7 weeks for, no compensation.
Sure. But a guy like me, okay, I'm not comfortable doing a lot of things by myself. I like to put trust into experts like you, because I figure you are working with this every day. I can read it. I can kind of figure it out. I think I might know, but I would have more confidence in you telling me, hey, Wade, this is where I need to go. And that's why people need people like you to kind of be there.
Yeah. And we've always been advocates for people, but it's almost getting out of hand, and this is new, obviously, what's happening, and we don't know how it's going to go, but just how, because that person will call me that got that letter that drug's not covered, and they're like, well, you said, and it's like, it's so frustrating, because it's like, no, like, I printed this out for you off the government website. It said that this drug was covered and it's a $5 copay, and then they can just change their mind and say, no.
Talking with Matt Heiar from Heiar Insurance. This is Senior Solutions on Daily Dodge TV and 95.3 WBEV. If you want to never miss programs like this or any other programs we have, you can hit subscribe on Daily Dodge TV on YouTube, and you'll get a notification every single time that this comes out and a program comes out, whether it's community comment, whether it's a sporting event, whether it's Hometown Today. You can get it there and never miss a beat. This is a paid program. Opinions expressed are that of Matt Heiar and Heiar Insurance, not necessarily that of Good Karma Brands or 95.3 WBEV. So as you mentioned, Matt, we're a month away from you really hitting like opening day. Well, this is like spring training.
No, spring training is more. It's more anticipated.
Okay, more anticipated. So we got a month left though. So somebody's, whether they're just hitting one of those magic numbers or they've been through this every year, what do they need to be thinking about right now?
Well, just knowing what you get. So like this is the time of year right now in September, you should be getting your book of changes. And what that means is
book of changes.
Yes, I know. That's the government.
Is that the name? Is that the actual name?
Well, it's your summary of benefits for next year, basically. Okay. And it says like, hey, in 24, your premium was this, 25, it's this. And your copays are this, and your preferred pharmacies are this. And if you don't see a lot of change and you do nothing, it just rolls right over with the new changes. But if you see some drastic changes where your premiums triple or something like that, yes, it's time to change or look into something else, obviously. So the consumer finds out before we do. So anybody that has any book of changes and stuff, I would gladly like to look at them, because I am just nervous about this year for some reason with all these, drastic changes on what's going to happen. And I don't know, I feel like I'm venting now, but
you think I get frustrated because the change is happening for you guys, and it's being impacted, and it impacts the consumer, impacts everybody.
Well, exactly, and being an independent, insurance company or insurance agent, like we have to contract with every one of these companies every year. We have to do their testing. We have to do a AHIP test, for all the drug plans and all the Medicare Advantage plans, and then they can just go out and say like, well, thank you for doing that, but we're not paying you. And it's like, wow, like it's drastic. And I don't know about other agents that if they're with these companies and stuff, but we have to be with every company. So, and if it's a popular plan, now you're having agents test their moral compass and say like, oh, well, I don't get paid from them, so I'm going to put them with this. And that's not right either.
Nope.
So it's just very frustrating, and it's not a good way to start. Let's just say that.
Sure. And is this something that when that in your circle of the industry that you're in, when the changes came, you said it was from the Inflation Reduction Act.
Yep.
Was this stuff that was discovered in there, or is it something that just kind of all of a sudden has popped up that this is part of it? This is how it's going to be impacting you. Is that just a recent thing?
No, so like they had it laid out.
Yeah.
Like in 22, this is gonna happen. 23, this is gonna happen. So we knew that in 25 that there was gonna be a $2,000 max on drugs,
Okay.
and we were pumped.
Yeah.
We're like, this is awesome. Like, hey, people can start going back to their name brand medications or trying different drugs, because a lot of people, it's too expensive. They're not going to take it, and they're going to try a generic or an older drug. But these new innovative drugs, they're great and they work and less side effects. But now that they're making these changes, it's a little scary, and drug costs have just gotten outrageous.
All right, looks like we have a caller on the air. Good morning. You're on Senior Solutions with Matt Heiar.
If you only have to pay $2,000 in 25, does that include like your drug plan cost?
That's your out-of-pocket cost, like what you would pay to a pharmacy.
Okay, but I have two medications that are real pricey, and my drug plan is, let's just say, about $600. And then the first time I go and pick up each of these drugs, I have to pay a ransom. And the first drug is like $500 some the first time I pick it up, and the other drug is $400 some the first time I pick it up.
Wow.
So we're already up to $900, and I'm on a couple other generic that are not a big deal. But why would I have a drug plan then?
Well, because so basically you're covering your deductible right away. I'm assuming you probably have like a $545 drug deductible, so you're meeting your deductible. But the retail cost of those drugs are probably $500, $600, $700. So you're meeting a deductible, and then you're paying your tier 3 copay. But imagine, two $500 drugs, that's $12,000 a year.
Right, but then, okay, that would be fine, excepting then in the middle of summer I end up in the donut hole.
Yes, so that's what 2025 is doing. They're eliminating the donut hole, and you can only spend $2,000 max. It'll be a zero copay once you have $2,000 spent.
Right, but see, what I'm saying is, do I have to be on a drug plan? Because that costs me $600, and I will easily get to $2,000, with the... let's just say I don't have a drug plan, and this drug is $1,000 a month, and I got two of them. Let's just say they're both $1,000. I don't know what they are, but let's just say they are. I would be at $2,000 in January.
Yes, but this program is through the Part D plan, so you have to have a Part D plan still.
Okay. That was my question, because I was thinking, why would I even care if I were on a drug plan? Because out of pocket, I can get to $2,000, no sweat.
Well, yeah, and that's why, I've been advocating for people, let's try those name brand medications next year, go back to them, and, the insurance companies have to eat it. So if they have to eat it, that's the way it is, but trying these new innovative drugs, especially all these type 2 diabetic ones that are very expensive that we see on TV, absolutely I would advocate for that.
But then my second question is, if you have to take the drug plan, are they going to jack your drug plan up to $5,000, and then, okay, then you can get your drugs when you get to $2,000, then you'll be okay and you won't have to pay, but actually you'll end up paying even more.
Well, and that's why I'm nervous, and I want to see October 1st what these plans look like, because yes, you're right in your sense, take the cheapest drug plan if you know you're going to spend $2,000. Mm-hmm. But will the government website, show us that? Will it calculate that? And there's so many questions we have, and the government website has been, Medicare.gov is frustrating at times, and sometimes it's not processed right away in October 1st. So yeah, there's so many unknowns that we are curious to see, and anxious, I'll be honest.
Yeah, and can we trust that they really will do that?
Well, Congress passed it, so it sounds like it's going forward, and they already gave these Part D companies more money than they normally do, so, it's happening.
Okay. All right, well, I was just wondering, but that was one of the things I wondered, too, in 2025, if they would just jack it up on the other end and get it anyways, now the drug plans are all out of this world, but yeah, you can get your drugs after you spend $2,000. You know, that they'll not only get the money out of you up front, but they'll get even more than what they would have otherwise.
Well, and supposedly this extra money that they got was to not raise premiums and keep them pretty stable. So that's why I really am curious to see how it's going to go. So if you do get your book of changes, I would love to see it.
All right. Well, I may be in to see you just because, you know, with these two drugs that I take, it's ridiculous.
Oh, it is. And it's
there's no generic on them, so I have no choice.
Yep. It's pure greed.
And my doctor gave me phone numbers to Canada, and he said he would give me prescriptions to Canada, and you would not believe the price difference. But what happens is if I keep a drug plan and I go through it, it's like I'm paying less. I don't know how to explain it very well, but I'm paying less right now in the donut hole than what I would have to pay at Canada. But the price of the drug up front is so much cheaper. So
I know.
Anybody, and you know, I heard that somebody had a lot of problems. This wasn't from my doctor or anything, but from Mexico, they were on something that was supposed to stop blood clotting, and they got some drugs from Mexico, and the doctor said, "How are you getting blood clots when you're on this medication?" But you know, that's just what I heard. I don't know if you're doing okay in Mexico. That's fine too, but you know, it's another option.
It is, and it's sad that we have to, you know, outsource to another country to get our medications.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the phone call.
All righty. Bye
Anybody has
now.
a question,
Bye-bye.
885-4446. You mentioned Canada. Are there people are a lot of people going north and south of the border to get their medications in some capacity?
I do it with a lot of our clients.
Okay.
It's a mail order service.
Yes.
We don't have to travel.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, I'm saying you get it from another country. It comes in and it still qualifies and works, and you end up with it.
Yeah, it's right from the manufacturer. It's so frustrating that there is a very expensive blood thinner that people are on. It's very popular now, and there is a generic of that in Canada.
Okay.
And I can get it for like $1 a pill. I sound like a drug dealer now, but
No,
I
yeah.
can get it for like $1 a pill, and that drug is about $650 a month in the United States.
Okay, so there'd be, is that daily pill people take, or is it like
Twice a day.
Okay, so then you figure if it's $650 a month, it's not $1 a pill.
No.
So in Canada, 2 times roughly $60, $70 a month it costs you in Canada for the same thing it's going to cost you $600 here in the United States.
Yes. And that's why there is such a, in the United States, we use the most pharmaceuticals out of any country. We also pay the most. And that's just wrong. And I mean, obviously it's a system where, you know, we're paying for yachts and we're paying for, you know, bonuses and private jets, and they don't want to break that system, obviously, but you have to be your own advocate. You have to, you know, talk to your doctor. Are there generics? You know, why am I taking these medications? You know, because so many people have like all these medications and they don't even know why. I'm like, why they're taking it or what it's for, or, you know, and I'm sure it's for a medical reason, obviously, but at the same time, it's just knowing, you know, your medications, why you're taking it, and what it's doing. That's the main thing, you know, and you have to be your own advocate. You have to ask questions.
Talking with Matt Heiar from Heiar Insurance. If somebody wants to call your office, they want to call here and have questions, how do they get in touch with you?
Yes. Well, Jill is standing by right now. You can give us a call for a free consultation, 920-887-0580.
And that's the case. So if you're a newbie, you know, most people that are just getting into it, have they made contact with people, or some people like, oh, I'm turning 65 and now I see it's opening up now. Is that when they start? Is this the time where they start? Or do some people sniff around like much earlier than 4 weeks out?
It all depends on the person. You know, some people are like, nope, I know I can't sign up yet, but I still want to, you know, get a game plan. Okay, absolutely. You know, so, but the soonest we can sign you up for Medicare and get you a drug plan or a supplement or advantage plan would be 90 days prior in the state of Wisconsin.
Sure.
So that's where, you know, we'll just walk you through, show you how. The main thing is signing up for Medicare, because the government stuff takes the longest, and we want to make sure you're signed up, you have your card ready to go. And then after that, it's just, you know, picking a plan, which I can control that. I can sign you up the day before, and we can get you temporary cards, policy numbers. We can control the insurance aspect
You know,
of it.
being that I'm 50 now, I get, you think about it, I get a couple like ARP mailers like before that. Now I'm getting like every day. And then I think about like, Medicare and things like that. That's like a just, a snap of the fingers, and it's going to be my turn to start looking at that type of stuff.
Well, and everyone hears about like if you don't sign up for Medicare at the right time, you get penalized, and there are lifetime penalties. And that is true, but there is no excuse not to sign up for Medicare, because as soon as you turn 64 years old, your mailbox, like you think you're getting letters now. Oh, your mailbox will blow up, your phone, your emails. I mean, they find you.
Like what am I getting? Like, so who am I going to be getting? If somebody's 63, who are they getting letters from when they turn 64? Who's sending them letters?
It's all these different insurance companies.
Okay.
Yep, all these providers, and they're very subtle and they're very good. It's crazy marketing tactics where they're like, your phone appointment is scheduled for this date, and people are like, oh, I do have a phone appointment with Social Security. Is this it? And it's like, nope. You have to always look at the disclaimers in the fine print. It usually says, we are not affiliated with Medicare, Social Security, or the U.S. government. And you have to look for that stuff. And they're hiding it even better
Sure,
now.
and somebody who's new probably just thinks they're doing me a favor. They're letting me know I need to do this thing. And it's really just kind of like when my sump pump needs to get, I don't know how they know every year it's time. I start getting a million different things in the mail knowing it's time. And like, hey, we've got your thing set. We can come out at this time. It's like, oh, and it's not like the county doing that. It's somebody that's trying to get in and take care of you.
Yeah, I know. And it's all marketing, and like, obviously you're in marketing and stuff. That, data is being sold.
Sure.
So they know demographics, they know who they're looking for, and obviously it doesn't take much to find, a 64-year-old nowadays with all the technology. Back in the day, we used to have phone books, right? I knew your phone number, your address, where you lived, and
how many kids you had,
yes.
what your wife or husband's name was all listed on there.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's a little scary, and which brings me to my next point of venting. Fraudulent calls. So it's been happening a lot. Just this week, it's happened twice, and then I had a couple, recently also. So what's happening right now? The big scam is, and I don't know if it's a scam or if they're just this is a way to get your Medicare number, but they are calling people and they're saying, "Did you get your new Medicare card?" And a typical answer from everyone would be like, "No," and they're like, "Okay, we will send you one. What's your Medicare number?" Well, if they were sending you a new one, they would already have your Medicare number. But they're claiming that they're from Medicare, and we do not give out our Medicare number. That is essentially your Social Security number. So back in the day, like prior to 2018, your Social Security number was on your Medicare card. And I almost wish they go back to that, because we knew not to give out our Social Security number.
Never give it out, they said.
Yep. So
but then for a while, my college ID was my Social Security number. My college...
That's crazy. Well, same with military. Like, that was a lot of people's military number was their Social Security.
Sorry
number.
for the sidebar there. Continue.
No, but it's happening, and basically, like, all of a sudden, like one instance, a person gave their Medicare number out, and they didn't hear anything, so they're like, "Oh, that's fine." At their front doorstep, a couple of weeks later, they had like 8 back braces sitting there. And so that's Medicare fraud. This company billed Medicare through your Medicare number and purchased these, and the government paid for it. They got the money, and you got back braces. You don't want these back braces.
No.
So and then you have to call the Medicare fraud line and report it, and that's it. I've never heard of what happens after that. They're probably looking for, trends, and, you don't.
Wouldn't it get red flagged, though, if like you got like 8, or they go through different channels where all of a sudden, like you said, 8 back braces show up, or...
Well, it could be like a doctor's office ordering it.
Okay. I see,
So it's not
they put like Dr. Johnson, and they put your address on it, and then it's like...
Yep, and it's... And they're like, "Well, what do we do with these?" And they're like, "Well, you can ship them back." And, it's kind of rendered useless, but that's where, we do not give out our Medicare number. And especially now during the enrollment period, all these telesales people. So there's Medicare Advantage plans and drug plans that are $0. Perfect, right? Sign me up. Well, basically, if they don't, because people are coming in with these letters saying, "Hey, thank you for signing up with this company." And they're like, "I didn't sign up. I told them I didn't want to. I didn't give them any banking information." They do not need banking information if it's $0. All they need is that Medicare number. And you'll never talk to that person again. So it's a between the scam calls and then just these pushy sales agents where they're just going to sign you up and that's their quote. They met their quota that day. It's so frustrating.
So besides, like, going back to like you mentioned the number you hit with the back braces, besides you being inconvenienced by having 10 back braces sitting at your house, is there any other collateral damage that would happen to you and your Medicare coverage by those all of a sudden showing up at your house under your number's name?
It's hard for the government to come down on you saying like, hey, you were scammed, but you owe us money. But the problem is everyone's paying for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And then there's paperwork, figuring out that they weren't actually going to you. There's probably a process that you have to go through. No, I didn't really need 10 back braces.
Right. Well, that and just like, Medicare goes up every year, and it's based on their budget. Well, that's not going to help the budget, all these fraudulent, Medicare fraud. So that's why we have to be vigilant, and we preach education and we try to, till we're blue in the face, we will say this, but it still happens every day. And it's just, like how much are people really paying, or how much should we be paying for Medicare because of all this, extra cost. So it's very scary. And, we do not give out personal information. Medicare does not call you. If they do call you and it is a legitimate call, I would hang up the phone and I would call back to Medicare. They all have the same computer program. And that goes for Social Security too. Call your local office because they will say, yes, that was a legit person. They called at 3:50 yesterday and they want to know XYZ. That makes you feel better when you physically call them. So that's where I've been dealing with this a lot, and it's hard to get anything done. Appealing things, trying to change things. It's a 6-month process. Mm-hmm. So you might be covered, you might not. We don't know what's going to happen, if you're going to get a welcome letter, if you're going to get the back braces. So we do not give out our Medicare number. I cannot preach that enough. That's basically giving out your health ID Social Security number. All
right, 885-4446. If you have a question, we have a couple minutes to get some things, a question if you have any here on the Heiar Insurance, a senior solution show with Matt Heiar. Matt, any other things we need to, talk before we wrap up here today that are specifically on your agenda of topics?
Just going back to the Part Ds, I would make sure that, going to the county and having the ADRC running them, having Medicare run them, because I'm a little nervous that some agents, they know they're not getting paid from a certain company and they will not sign you up with that company. And that's not right. And they shouldn't even. We already have so many rules and tests and certain thresholds and continuing education credits that we have to do every year just to make sure we can be an agent. And there still are bad ducks out there, just like with any profession. But I do not. If a person on the phone calls you and says this is the greatest thing since sliced bread, it's usually too good to be true. And that's why I would go to like a local resource like the county. They do not, have a certain plan that they like. They're non-biased. You have to go to someone non-biased. Calling actual Medicare and seeing if they'll run your meds. Calling the ADRC. It's pharmacies are doing it too. Then you feel a little bit better about knowing, hey, my pharmacy did it. They said this is the best plan for me if I want to go here. And you have that peace of mind. And I would just be advocating for. Do not try to do it on the phone, unless it's Medicare and you physically call them, because I think it just could be a tricky year where people are using, their own best interest before you, and that's what scares me moving forward.
All right. Again, there's lots of questions, and you hopefully will have the answer, help people find the answer as we get, this final month before it's opening day. Yeah, I guess you can say, right?
Don't ruin opening day for me.
No, don't ruin opening day. No, opening day's always got to be a win, like for the Brewers, right?
Yes, I know. Which, by the way, the Brewers are doing amazing now.
Magic number, they won last night. The Cubs didn't play.
7?
So is it 7? Somewhere in the single digits.
Yes.
I was still getting a little nervous for the Brewers a couple of weeks back. I'm like, are they gonna? Cubs started playing a little bit better.
Well, Rockies, we really should have won more games against the Rockies. But I guess after the All-Star break, they said we had one of the hardest schedules.
Yeah. So, but they're maintaining Pat Murphy's squad. I wasn't sure if I believed in Pat Murphy when he got hired, but he might be one of my favorite managers of all time now.
I like him better in Council, I think.
Oh, I think so. I think Council may have been the problem.
Why?
He always was the smartest guy in the room and had to
analytics for everything.
Analytics for Pat just kind of like tells it like it is kind of gruff and.
He's a player's coach.
Yeah, he is, but he also isn't afraid to, get down and dirty with everybody, and that's why I like Pat Murphy.
No, I'm excited, but we still have a bunch of hard games coming up, like the Diamondbacks. I think
They need
now.
to win a series. The Phillies and Diamondbacks next week. Can't just go one and done in the postseason.
I know. Well, and we want to be one of the top 2 seeds.
Yes.
Because that's another thing too. Like the second wild card, they added that, and then you play 162 games, and then you play one game.
Yeah.
One game.
And then if you lose, you're done.
Yeah. And then even the wild card is 3 best of.
They keep changing it. I'm not going to say I know 100%. Right now,
Yep.
Wally Lukashenski, who's listening, probably can answer that question.
Yep, divisional is 5, and then until you get to the NLCS, it's a 7-game series. It's like you play all this time, 162 games.
One and done. Bye. Thanks.
That's crazy to me.
But if you're gonna go to the plate with one swing for the fences, Heiar Insurance and Matt Heiar will give you the best chance to hit that home run and get what you need that fits you personally when it comes to your your well-being and your comfort level with your insurance and everything else you need as time comes.
We will give you our honest opinion, even if it hurts and I'm upset with companies. I can't take that out on other people. That's just not right. But sorry if this show is depressing, but yeah, just getting that email and after all the training and stuff, and they're like, oh yeah, by the way, and it's like, oh, okay. So even the past work you've done, you feel, depleted almost, like, wow, like, thank you. I thought I was doing well, like at this and stuff. And then it's like, because when you start, like, to be an insurance agent, you start, it's tough. You can't you need a salary, basically, but you build up this salary and then all of a sudden they're like, well, and they just cut you down. But you can't be deterred, right?
No, not at all. And
You just got to keep going.
again, how do they contact you in your office?
Well, you can contact us at the office, and it'll be a much happier time at 920-887-0580.
All right, Matt Heiar from Heiar Insurance. It's always a pleasure every single Friday. Enjoy your wedding. Is it open bar?
Absolutely.
Oh, I like it. All right. Again, this has been Senior Solutions with Heiar Insurance. I'm Wade Bates, filling in this week on Daily Dodge TV. Appreciate Wally Lukashenski and Jack Wilski for making it happen here on 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. And which that was the wrong station, wasn't it? 95.3 WBEV and Daily Dodge TV. Have a great weekend, everybody.